Hello, welcome all of you to our first discussion on statistics. So, this is our first discussion on statistics, and today we are dealing with Introduction to Statistics. So, first we have to know why we need to have statistics, right? So, first we have to know what is the origin of statistics. This is the part 1 and it includes about the different economic activities. So, let's start with the class. So, what is economic activities? Alfred Marshall, he is one of the founders of modern economics. He considered economics as the study of man in the ordinary business of life. Now, you see, he has stated that economic activities are about the study of man and man in the context of ordinary business of life. So here you can see we have to know this term ordinary business of life. Now the term ordinary business of life includes some processes and some basic concepts. So what are those basic concepts? Like consumer, seller, producer, employee and employer. So consumer, when it is related to buying and consuming, we buy something because we need to consume it, right? Then to be there a buyer, there needs to be a seller, right? So it is related to selling. Then to sell something, first of all we have to produce it, so there must be some producer. Then in the production process we need service and employee. So in all these cases, an individual is said to be involved in economic activities. Economic activities are ones that are undertaken for monetary gain. So why do we are involved in economic activities? Because we need money. Money is one kind of financial resource for us through which we can satisfy our different needs. So to have money, we need to be involved in different economic activities like consuming, selling, producing, employing and employment. So this is what economist means by the term ordinary business of life. Now, there are some key terms like consumer. A consumer is one who consumes goods and services for the satisfaction of his wants. Then consumption. Consumption, it is a process. It is a process through which you can use the utility value of goods and services for the direct satisfaction of our wants. So, the process of consumption is related to what? Our satisfaction and needs. We need to satisfy our needs. We have different kinds of needs in our life, right? So we need to satisfy those, and to satisfy those needs or to fulfill those needs, we need to consume different things, and when we consume those, we become consumer. Then if we need to consume something, it must be available for us. Now how it will be available for us? Through production. So production is the process of converting raw material into useful thing. Raw materials, resources are available in the form of raw material, but we need to transform them according to our need and demand, right? So when we transform the raw material or we convert the raw material into a useful shape or a useful way, then the process is called production, and the person or the persons who are involved in the process of production, they are called producer. So a producer is one who produces or sells goods and services for the generation of income. Okay, so then apart from that, in economic activity, we have two other concepts. They are saving and investment. So what is saving? It is the part of income which is not consumed. It is an art of abstention from the consumption. So saving is called as an art because we do saving because we are careful about our future, right? That's why we absence ourselves from consumption consciously so that we can deal in the time of need. And investment. Investment is the expenditure by the producers or the purchase of such assets which help to generate income. To generate income, we need to invest the capital. We need to invest the human resource. We need to invest our effort. We need to invest our knowledge, skill, etc. So, all these are engulfed or encompassed in the concept of economic activity. So, economic activity is an activity which is related to the use of scarce means. Means are always scarce in relation to our wants. You see, we have so many wants at the same time, but we cannot satisfy all our needs, all our wants, because the resources are not in the available amount. Resources are always in scarce. So here we have got a new concept, and what is that concept? That concept is scare of means or scarcity. Okay, now let's go to how scarcity keeps the economy activities ongoing. So you see, scarcity is called as the root of economic problem. Economic problems are the problems of choice or of allocating scarce resources to other uses due to scarcity of resources. These resources have alternative use, which is why the problem of choice arises. So you see, there is scarcity, that's why we have to choice. Like, for example, at the same time, I may or a child need a toy also, a child need a gun toy also, a child need a book also, and at the same time he has to also have what eat in the leisure also by the pocket money. So his pocket money is limited. Now he has to choose whether he will eat in the leisure time with the pocket money, or he will buy a book, or he will buy the toys. So it's about the choice. So this choice, it is a problem of choice, right? So this problem of choice, making choice, is called economic problems. So you see why economic problems arise. What you can see that resources are limited, right? And we have unlimited wants and needs. So the economic problem is too much, limited resources to unlimited wants and needs. Human wants are unlimited, but the resources to satisfy those wants are limited, and these resources have alternative uses. So resource scarcity gives rise to the problem of choice among consumer, and they make rational choice to satisfy the demand. So we have to make what? Rational choice. So this concept of rational choice is important. Why? Because we have to fulfill our needs on priority basis. What is prioritized? What is to be prioritized at the very moment? We have to be aware of that. So scarcity is considered as the root of all economic problems. So we have already discussed that individuals usually have unlimited wants, needs or desires, but in proportion to that our resources are limited. So individuals have to choose which one is most important for him at the current moment, and therefore scarcity is considered as the root of all economic problems, because if there would not be scarcity, there would have been no economic problem, right? In our daily life we face various forms of scarcity. We face scarcity because the things that satisfy our wants are limited in availability. The resources which the producers have are limited and also have alternative uses. So this concept is very important here. You need to be aware of this concept, alternative uses. So alternative uses of resources give rise to the problem of choice between different commodities that can be produced by the resources. Okay. Now when we discuss about economics, then we have to discuss its three key study area. They are consumption, distribution and production. Okay. Economics is often discussed in three parts: consumption, production and distribution. So what is study of consumption? It is the study of how the consumer decides, given his income and many alternative goods to choose from, what to buy when he knows the price. So it is also the study of consumption also about what? How the consumer makes the choice. How he makes a rational choice. Then the study of production is a study to know how the producer chooses what and how to produce for the market. So it is about how to concern with the market demand. Then study of distribution. It is the study of how the national income or the total income arising from what has been produced in the country is distributed through wages, profits and interest. But apart from these three key study areas, there are some other study area in economic studies. Like modern economics studies include some of the basic problems that are faced in the current situation by the society or the country, like ratio of BPL and APL. Now, why we need to study ratio of BPL and APL? Because the government makes different welfare schemes and policies. To make those welfare schemes and policies, the government need to know how many poor people are there, how many people are above the poverty line, right? According to that, the government or the different agencies becomes to able to adopt proper measures. Then ratio of literate and illiterate, because we know literacy is related to production, because as there will be more literate person, there will be more knowledgeable and more skilled person, so there will be more productivity. Then poverty and disparity in society, then we need to know what are the dissimilarities and disparities in the poverty and impacts of unexpected events on ordinary business life. So there may be different unexpected events like natural calamities, like for example we can say about the pandemic. Okay, we can say about the even pandemic also. So you see, the pandemic has impacted our life, everything, the whole economic structure, health, education, everything, right? So how to deal with that? What are the impacts of the pandemic, right, on the different economic sector? These are also discussed in the special studies. So to study all these area, one needs facts based data, and when we are studying the special cases, we need to go to the ground, we need the specific data related to the reality or the current situation. So we will have different data, and to deal with the data in a more efficient, accurate and reliable way, statistical analysis and interpretation becomes very necessary. Now why we need statistical analysis or interpretation? To deal with the data in more efficient, more accurate and more reliable way, we need statistical analysis and statistical interpretations. So at the last, we can define economics, that economics is the study of how people and society choose to employ scarce resources that could have alternative uses in order to produce various commodities that satisfy their wants and to distribute them for consumption among various persons and groups in society. So this is a very comprehensive definition, if you see, because it has encompassed all the aspects that we have discussed today, right? So it says the relation people and society. Okay, then it is about the choose, right, the problem of choose. Then scarcity of resources, right, alternative uses of resources. Then production, right, then employment is also in consumption. Then distribution of resources and consumption of resources. So you see, it has included all the aspects of economic activities. That's why it can be stated as a comprehensive definition. So this was the very first starting on an introduction to you, that why we need statistical analysis and inferences. So here we have discussed that economics is a science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Scarcity means what? Shortage of goods and resources in relation to their demand, and scarcity is considered as the root of all economic problem. Resources are scarce or limited, and resources have alternative uses. These are the two reasons why the economic activities are always going on in a cycle, right? So activities may be economic and non-economic. Economic activities are like production, consumption, investment, exchange and distribution. Non-economic activities may be social, religious, political, charitable, potential. So you see, these are considered as non-economic, but they have also they may have also indirect impact. So this comes under what? Spatial studies. To discuss to study them, we need what? We need data. Okay. Then economic activities are those activities we have already discussed it, that it includes monetary gain and welfare, right? And then we have also discussed non-economic activities. So now can you just go through this question? What are the three components of economics? Consumption, production and distribution. Define economics. You have to define economics broadly, considering all the aspects like scarcity of resources, problem of choosing, then consumption, distribution, and production along with that, and that also you can aid what about the alternative uses and scarcity of resources. You can also add here in the definition about what about the special studies of the economics. Meaning of scarcity, you know, it is the shortage of resources or limitations of resources. Define consumer, one who consumes or buys. Who is a producer, one who produces or who is involved in the what who is involved in mm, converting raw materials into useful thing. Why does economic problem arises? You can know it because economic problem arises. Why? Because of the scarcity of resources in relation to demand. Then you can elaborate on this production, consumption, and distribution are economic activities because they are interrelated. And the term service holder and service provider with suitable examples. Service holder who is employed, and service provider who will be employing. That means when we call service holder, that means he is getting employed, right? It will also include what the literacy concept. It will also include monetary gain concept. Then service provider who will be employing the people. That means he will be a producer. So this is a very brief review to economic activities and economy. Because of economic activities, statistical studies are done to get data about that. So in our next discussion, we will be dealing with the basic concepts of statistics. So I hope all of you clear with this. If you have any query or any question, you can send to us. Okay, thank you.